Hi guys, this video is about my custom built rock sliders. We'll be discussing their utility and why I decided to build my own. Let's slide right into the video. Let's start with why do I need sliders? Well, if you've been following the channel, you know that Django had a mad run at Mudmasters, and as predicted, the first casualty was the stock sidestep. Looking at the stock configuration, we can see that the side steps are perhaps one of the few places where Force has adopted weight saving, which is unfortunate for us. Thin aluminum planks delicately held up by thinner brackets and pin-like screws. This may pass off for daily usage, but for off-road, it would be the first kill. Next, let's see why does this happen. Look at the profile of the truck. The front overhang is the approach zone ahead of the front wheels, and the rear overhang is the departure zone behind the rear wheels. These are relatively shorter. The longest unsupported span is the center zone between the wheelbase. This also has the longest body panel and in profile is the lowest point of the truck side. So off-road, it is most prone to damage, and if the side steps are not strong enough, it will give in to damage to the undersill panel below the door or the underbody at the turn of the skirting plate. Off-road, when we are concentrating on approach and departure angles, clearing obstacles, the limiting factor in profile is actually in the ramp over angle, which comes from this center portion. I was hunting for good quality ready-made aftermarket sliders for my Gurkha, but out of the options available in the market, all of them seem to be of a similar, simple design, straight and parallel. While these would be good, strong side steps, I wanted to custom design and build my own set, suited to my particular off-road requirements and for better functionality. For sliders, the basic design variants are either flat, which would be parallel to the ground when installed, like the ready-made ones, or angled, which would be angled upwards when installed, which was what I was looking for. The angled frame would help the truck easily slide off rocks just using gravity and weight of the truck if we were to engage some obstacles sideways. The next design decision is whether to include a kick-out in the design or go for one without it. Imagine a tight spot and you're trying to negotiate around an obstacle. The front wheels can be steered to avoid, but the rear wheels simply follow. So the kick-out, as the name suggests, would help the truck kick itself out and away from a tree or a rock in tight spaces and prevent the rear wheels from running into the obstacle. The third decision is to whether or not to put a top plate or a filler plate to cover it and act as a better footstep, but I like the idea of keeping it skeletal, so I let the design be open. If you have been following the Trippuccino community, you would know that I've been iterating a few designs. I had shared it in progress with the community as well. The final design came out well with a proper angled section with a chunky kickout and skeletal open design, which makes it a bad side step but a great rock slider. That's the compromise. In terms of weight, the pair weighs about 40 kilograms together. In terms of altering the weight dynamics, the sliders are more forgiving because they spread that added weight evenly along the length of the wheelbase and closer to the center of the vehicle. So as far as dynamics and weight distribution goes, these are lesser evils than say a full metal bumper which would have a front weight bias. The frame and the mount was designed to be reinforcing the underbody, and we made sure it directly bolts onto the chassis. It is solid and behaves like an extension of the chassis frame itself, so it is both functional and load bearing. The final design and installation, we have kept the outer frame in line with the wheels and the kick-out extending a bit out of the rear wheel line for its core function. Now, what is the utility of these sliders? The first is obvious, ramping over obstacles, mainly rocks. It would help you to slide over any obstacle, protecting your truck in the middle. The second is that it can be used to pivot around obstacles by leaning and turning on and about them. The third is my favorite, that it adds a great functionality of recovery using something like a high lift jack. So let's grab my farm jack. So if you're stuck awkwardly in some place, and if you can't quite recover using the front or rear ends, then this rock slider is functional and is a great way to support and recover your truck from the side. You can just let the jack bite onto the rock sliders and crank it up, and you will be clear of it in no time. And as always, every modification has a consequence, and this one is a big compromise, giving away the functionality of the simple stock side steps to gain strength, durability, protection and functionality off-road. As for weight, I've already explained that it is definitely an additional weight and much heavier than the stock step, but it is better distributed along the length, so it is lesser of a needle. From this angle, we can see the run of the sliders in line with the wheel line and the angle of the frame, the kick out in the rear, and an all open design. A big shout out to my buddy Chris for the amazing fabrication work. So that's it for this video, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe if you want to watch the rock sliders in live action off-road. That's all from me for now. See you soon in the next video. Bye bye.